So, let's get that right. Right. What's going on here? Let's get that. So, let's get everything going. There's not what I want. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me open another window. There's so much to go on live, it's so crazy. It's work. It's work. Let's go to my channel. Live. Come on, you're figuring it out, John. You're smart as you look. Not very much. Oh, audio is not good. Let's guys hear me? Is everything okay? Pop out the chat. Here's the problem. Chat. Pop out chat. There we go. Steve over there. See. Can you guys hear me? See, we're looking. The audio is crazy. Audio is horrible. Seeing if I can fix this audio without. Let's see. There's a couple, so I don't want to have to cancel the video and then restart it. Let's see if that makes a difference.
All right. Now let's see if that's any better. Let's go here. We're going to set a new. Let's see if it, YouTube. Not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go here, go here. The only fix I found for that is to the only fix I found. Yeah, there we go. Let's mute that. Let's go back to here. We got the chat popped out. Life is good. So how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everyone is well. Oop, it's not what we wanted to do. And we want to go here and get the chat. Can I keep the chat toggle timestamps? I'm going to close that one and I'm going to open up this chat right here. Takes a minute to get all this set up properly, guys, to go live. Yeah, there we go. Good. Let's close that one and open up this chat right here. Takes a minute to get all this set up properly, guys, to go live. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I see we got 2 people watching live, and I think one of them is me. So if you're watching, pop in the chat and say hi. I'm going to close the video here because all it does is confuse me. And let's face it, I'm not very smart to start with. So a couple of things I want to address, and this will go up on YouTube as a just a regular video. It's just live, so you can watch it. Like my ears? I don't like my ears, but you know what? I didn't want to put my hair in a ponytail, and it's all over the place as always. So you know what? You're getting wolf ears from the Great Wolf Lodge in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. We stayed there for our vacation before we went on our cruise, and it was phenomenal. So I just wanted to do a little live chat. Hopefully there's some people watching, and I hope you guys get something out of this as always. So there's big changes coming. We bought a house. Our offer was accepted. It's everything we want. I mean, there's no perfect house for anybody who's bought a house in the past. You know that you're never going to get everything you want. But what the house does have is perfect for us. I'm going to take this off, and I think I'm just going to put it like right here. Pardon, I hope this doesn't create too much noise or static for you guys. Hopefully that's fine. You can hear me okay. Let me know in the chats if you can't. Just gonna post it here. Hopefully the audio is okay. If somebody can just pop in the chat there and say yay or nay that it's it's okay or it's garbage. I haven't found a way to fix that garbalization or whatever you call it from the audio. But it is what it is. I posted in a couple of places saying we were having a chat. So it looks like one person is watching, and that is probably me. But we can test that theory by copying this and then closing it. Let's see. The one thing. The one thing I wish it would show is it would show how many people are in the chat. That way, I think that would be useful information, don't you think? Community participants, does it show? Yeah, it only shows me in the chat. Ooh, well, this was impromptu, like I said, so I just wanted to. Look, it made me want to do this because Ash Barker just posted a video. about the state of his channel. And it really made me think about my channel. Now, Ash Barker has over 114,000 viewers. I have 1,200, 1,300. But the point of it is, it's not how many viewers you have, it's your content. And if you enjoy what you're doing and you like what you're doing, and I do like what I'm doing, I enjoy it very much. I'm going to bring the camera a little closer. I don't want you guys seeing my fat. So there's a nice headshot. My desk is a mess back here. You guys have known for years. I started this channel in 2016 when I was living in Louisiana, and I was unemployed, and I was going stir crazy with nothing to do. I mean, I cleaned the house, I cooked, I had dinner ready for the wife when she came home. Uh, but she was the only source of income. I think I was getting unemployment. I'm not even sure if I was getting unemployment. Either way, I remember being unemployed, and I was looking at my Mutant Chronicles third edition of Mutant Chronicles and thinking, I really love this game. I need to talk about it. And I was like, I should do a YouTube channel, because I used to have a blog. It wasn't successful, and I didn't stay on top of it. And my good friend, and dare I say brother, Brian Isakoff, had done 2D 6 feet in a random direction, which was an amazing blog. And I had been on there a couple times, and it always had good reviews and good talks and everything. And we had a good time doing it. But Brian lives in California, and I live in Minnesota, or at the time I lived in Louisiana. And I was just like, well, I have all these games. I like talking about games. Maybe I should start a YouTube channel. And that's what happened. I did. I started Mr. Mean Speaks. And of course, you guys that have followed the channel for a long time know that Brian gave me the moniker of Mr. Mean Speaks. So it all came together, and it was pretty cool. And I really enjoy it. Like I said, I've been running it. It's a passion project. I'm not doing this to get rich. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any money. Fajuk, audio is good. Thank you, buddy. There is a couple second delay. So thank you so much, Fajuk, for posting and letting me know the audio is okay. I've posted to a couple social media spots. MeWe, I'm on MeWe, and of course Facebook. And I put a link in the Discord. I might have to put a new link, so in fact, let me do that now. I'm not ignoring you guys. I just going to delete this post, and I'm going to put a new post in, and hopefully that'll be better. Yeah, there we go. So Ash put a State of the Union. He rents a studio. He does all that work. He puts out amazing content. He has great videos. All that fun stuff. But he just like anybody else, he's got issues. It is hard work to do um, a YouTube channel. And if you don't know that, and I'm not picking on anybody, and I'm not calling anybody out, but one of my big things is the old saying, walk a mile in my shoes. Fajuk, who's watching, he's done a couple videos where he's interviewed GMs and stuff. He can probably attest to how hard it is. So um, it's one of those things that it's a passion project, and you get a lot of comments like "you suck," um, why you've got a face for radio, all kinds. I've had all of those comments, and so it takes a certain amount of mental fortitude to keep doing this, because there is a fair amount of pressure on yourself that you put on yourself to do a good video. And a lot of people say, "Huh, geez, John or Mr. Mean, uh, how can you sit there and talk to the camera and it's so fluid, it's so flowing?" Um, it's not easy. Let's see, Bob Vecna. I've seen my son put together a 5-minute video. Not something I want to tackle. Thanks, Bob. By the way, you have an awesome last name if that's your real last name. But how's your hand? But thanks, Bob, for watching. I'm not sure if you're on the Mr. Mean Discords or not. Uh, if you're one of my OSO, as we call meanies, we have a very thriving Discord channel. So if you haven't checked that out, there's many links in any of my videos. So thank you so much. But yeah, it's a lot of hard work to do these channels. And yes, I could do more. I could do more editing. I could edit out the times when my son comes in and interrupts or whatever. But you know what? My son is my world. He's autistic. He's beyond special. I'll keep my eye out for it. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, there's. I'll make sure I put a link in the chat there for the Discord if you haven't seen it. We talk about all kinds of RPGs and stuff like that. So definitely hop on over there. We have a thriving community. We run a lot of games. But getting back to what I was saying, it's a lot of hard work to run this channel, and I don't even put in as much time as I should. Now, that being said, the last week, well, 2 weeks, this week I recovered. I was sick. I was deathly sick. I literally thought I was going to die. I sat in the ER for over, I think, right at 2 hours and never got seen. There was an older couple that was there before me. They had been there for 4 hours already, plus the 2 hours I had been. So 6 hours, and they still hadn't been seen. And this is at a brand new hospital. The hospital had just opened the month previous. So the healthcare state in America, even in little old Duluth, Minnesota, is horrible. And I was so mad and so upset, and I just went home and I sucked it up. I not to get too graphic, or I hope it's late enough that hopefully everybody's eating dinner and nobody's eating while they're but I was puking up nonstop from Sunday night at 2:30 a.m. until about Wednesday afternoon at 5 p.m. I could not keep anything. I lost 10 pounds in 5 days. That's a lot of weight, guys. And the only reason I know that is because those of you that have been following me, I've been on a weight loss journey. I'm 56. I'm out of shape. I'm old. I'm grumpy. Everything hurts. And I was tired of feeling that way. My son fell. Like I said, he's 6 years old. He's autistic. He fell in the living room 20 feet from me, and I couldn't get off the couch to help him, and he was screaming. Now, he's autistic, he dramatizes everything, and he wasn't hurt terribly bad. It scared him more than anything. But if you're a parent, and I know a lot of my viewers are, there is nothing worse than your kid's authentic scream of when they're scared or they're hurt. It is a terrifying feeling, and I couldn't get off that couch. I weighed 273 pounds, and I said, I got to do something. And so I went on intermittent fasting. I lost about 40 pounds, 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds exactly. Um, and I felt great. And everything's been going great. I felt so good I got off the high blood pressure medicine. And then all of a sudden that Wednesday night, 2 weeks ago, I lost it, puking everywhere. Don't know if it was a virus, don't know what it was. I had a pounding headache. I'm back on my blood pressure medicine. And to be honest, that seems to have fixed whatever's going on. I don't know if bad blood pressure can cause you to vomit. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I couldn't get in to see a doctor, which was the extremely annoying part. But above and beyond all that, I was sick for the entire week. I still do not feel 100%. It's been 2 weeks. Well, tomorrow will make a solid 2 weeks, but it's been 2 weeks. The little guy is okay. Yes, Bob. Thanks for asking. He is amazing. Getting ready to start kindergarten in I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know. It's real soon. So we're in a panic. So as geriatric parents, we're like, ah, but you know how that goes. But the point being is, and I say this, we're just about every one of my followers is a gamer in some way, shape, or form. And we are the most out of shape, lazy when it comes to physical fitness or taking care of our health. And I'm here to tell you, please, please, for your loved ones, for your friends, your family, and more importantly, for you, take care of your health. Lose that extra weight, get out, go for a walk, whatever it takes. There's a million excuses. There's only one you. You can go through all the excuses, but if you lose you, it's game over. You're not rolling any more dice. And I want everybody that's a part of this community to roll a lot of dice. I want you to be around for a long time. I want you to continue to tell me that I suck and I'm mean and my views are stupid and whatever, but at least it's engagement and you're there and you're healthy and you're happy. And so for please, 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 please take care of yourself. Get off that couch, put the game controller down, put the dice down, go for a walk. Even if you only do it one day a week, do it. Start small, it gets better. Um, that was a very rude awakening, my being sick last week. I was sick for 7 days. I missed 6 days of work. I work in construction. I don't get paid if I don't go to work. It's that simple. So that financially hurt me big time, as well as the fact that I'm buying a house. I am in the middle. I close on my house October 18th. I can't afford to take a week off. So, not to beg, not to plead, but Patreon is a great source of income. I have very loyal followers. Once I get moved into the house, I'm going to revamp the Patreon tier. There's going to be two tiers. There's going to be the continuing $5 tier, which is where I'm at right now. And it doesn't really, every once in a while, I do a drawing, I send out some stickers. I try to engage with you guys, but again, it takes a lot of work to do this. But I'm going to create I haven't decided yet. I think maybe a 10 or a $15 tier. And what that's going to do is I mean, you pay Patreon once a month. That $15 tier is going to get you guaranteed in a game where I will run, and those $15 tier Patreons will have first dibs at playing in any games I run. And I'm going to try and be, I'm not going to try, I'm going to be more active on YouTube and recording videos and running games. Uh, and I think the Patreons deserve that. And I think the meanies deserve that. And so those videos will only be aired a month after we record them and we play them. And the reason being is I want to give value to the Patreon members. A, they're going to get to play in that game. And then B, they're going to get to go back and watch that. And the $5 Patreon members will get to watch it a month later. And then maybe 2 months or 3 months down the line, I'll upload those videos to YouTube for everybody to watch. But the main part of it is I want hey buddy, I want everybody to be, that was my son, he's getting ready for bed. Uh, I want everybody to get a chance to see, get value for the money they pay, and get value in the support that they give to the channel. Fajuk, as long as you don't push yourself too hard. Rhett, you're right, buddy. You're absolutely right. I do feel better. I'm still not 100%, which is why I haven't uploaded anything in the last week. I think I did 1 or 2 videos the other day, but they were short and I was sweating. You guys could see it on the camera. And I really was kind of embarrassed to post those. But getting back to the changes to the channel, the nice part of the new house is I will have a studio. The basement is completely done. I don't have to do anything except put up some sound baffling. I have 2 sit-to-stands. This is my painting sit-to-stand. You can see it's pretty cluttered because, well, I'm a slob. I am I'm an organized person, and I have no doubt that I am also autistic and have been on the spectrum all my life, because I am so, everything has to be in its place, a place for everything. And like my keys go in the same spot every day. I mean, you can't see it, but off camera, there's a hook right here on the inside of the wall into my hobby room. This is my hobby room. And there's a hook right there. My keys go there every day when I get home from work. My wallet goes right next to it, and my cell phone charges right there. So I know any given moment where my stuff is all the time. And that's how I am. And like when stuff is moved, I have my wife comes in the office and takes a pen and I freak out. So yeah, it's one of those things. So that being said, the point is to have a space where I'm not so cramped. This room is, I think, 10 by 8 or 10 by 9 or something like that, maybe 10 by 11 by 10 or something. It's a really small room. Uh, and it's really hard to get things done in here and move around. Basically, where I'm sitting is almost the center of the room. I can move back a little bit closer to that bookshelf. That bookshelf is built into the wall. It's part of the house. It does not come out. It is, I think these ceilings are 9 feet tall. Yeah, because they're about 2 feet tall. I mean, I'm almost 6 foot. So yeah, they're or eight and a half, 9 feet tall. So that goes all the way to the ceiling, and it's 5 feet wide, a little bit over 5 feet wide. So it's jam packed with books. And I have a bunch of bookcases over here and a bunch of boxes over here, just full of stuff. So anyway, the point of this rant is, and since nobody's posting questions in the chat, the point is to upgrade the channel, upgrade my game, give you guys more. I have a very loyal following. I mean, the 1,300s, 1,200 and something subscribers. You guys are amazing. You know, everybody post. The community. I put a lot of videos up, and a lot of people don't post. And if you don't know, that is the death of YouTube. Their algorithms, in order to meet certain criteria to be monetized, as well as get your video in front of more people, you have to hit that like button. You have to make comments. You have to engage with the person that's running the channel. Uh, Fully armed and operational, Mr. Mean. Yes. Hey, that's no moon. That's my butt. Uh, yes, Bob. That is the plan, man. We're gonna have this table is gonna be against one wall, and I'm gonna put up a paint rack so all my paints will be easily reachable because this is a sit to stand. This desk raises and low. It's I forgot how it's like 50 something inches long, so it's amazing. And then the desk I'm on is my computer desk. This was a Costco special. It is also a sit to stand, and this is going to stay my video recording platform. But I have an extra camera that my good buddy Mike Wilster gave me. Mike, I love you. Um, and he has his own YouTube channel, which is going gangbusters. And I'm not going to lie, there's some, I don't want to say resentment, but I'm a little pissy, if I can use the word, that here's a guy who started a channel a couple months ago and he's already got as many followers as I do. And why is that? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't even, you don't even see him. All you see is his hands and he's going through stuff. But the professionalism and the quality of his video is top notch. He doesn't have any crazy transitions or anything. It's just him talking with his hands, showing you whatever he's talking about. Um, and it's very well done. And so I want to up my game. Now, I do know that um, part of the problem is I'm in a very, very, very niche category on YouTube. Miniature painting videos, which Mike has a miniature painting channel, and that does very well. And Mike is a phenomenal painter. Those channels do well. People want to see you painting miniatures. And miniature painting is a love of mine. As you can see, I have both Kickstarters of Two Thin Coats. I have the Army Painter Speed Paints, the first set, version one, but they work just fine. I don't have a problem with them, so I don't see a need to upgrade. I would like to get more, so I need to take an inventory of what I have and then just go buy the ones I don't have, the individual paints. But it is back to the point at hand because I think I got a little off track, and I do that, and that's been one of the things that some people have complained about or said would make my channel better is to have a more focused. There's a lot of YouTubers that make scripts and then they read a script, and to me that is so off-putting when I watch a video and I see a guy like Ninjon and Miniature Maniac. They're both Wisconsin, Minnesota boys. I think they're Minnesota. They're awesome painters. They're phenomenal painters, and they have amazing YouTube channels. I highly recommend you go check them out if you're into miniature painting or miniature games and stuff like that. And they do awesome material, but especially Ninjon, and he has this funny little intros and stuff where he does, but it's scripted and it just feels cold and impersonal. And one of the things I pride myself on for this channel is someone said it really cool one time in a comment to one of my early videos is what's nice about this channel is you're having a conversation. We're talking. And yeah, I'm talking at you because you can't really respond, but you feel like you're watching it. You're having a conversation with a friend who's telling you about their cool game that they just got. And so that's really I take that as a compliment. I think it's awesome. And it makes me feel really good about doing this channel. And I get I wouldn't say I get a lot of negative feedback. I do get some negative feedback. Some people, and here's the wonderful thing about YouTube. If I'm not for you, click on past. You never have to watch another video of mine because you control what you watch on YouTube. Nobody else. I mean, you can decide, if you want to watch fuzzy kittens wrapped in duct tape, there's probably a channel for that. God, I hope not, but there probably is. And my point is you can watch whatever you want to watch. If you don't like some fat guy with a lot of hair rambling about RPGs, you never have to watch it again. Why leave a negative comment? That's not constructive. Now, if you leave a comment, hey, your audio seems a little grainy, or your video texture is off, or the refresh rate is low, or I think maybe you could do a little better cleaning up behind you when you do your video, that's constructive criticism. or hey, have you tried this application, or have you tried that? That's constructive criticism. You're fat, slobby, and I don't like, you droned on 10 minutes about your kid. It took me 20 minutes to get into the video to find out what you were talking about. I clicked away. That's not constructive. That's just being an asshole. So if you're an asshole, that's fine. Be an asshole, but don't be an asshole on my channel for what it's worth. Let's see. Fajuk, I know you understand, but I'm still sorry I haven't watched your content in forever. Fajuk, again, dude, it's on YouTube. It's there forever. So until YouTube goes away or I pull the videos down, which I typically do not do, unless they're just bad. Like I did an interview with Storm Cook, and for some reason the audio was just jacked, and I didn't know it until after I posted it. And then I went and looked, and a couple of the meanies that are on the Discord pointed out, hey, the audio's horrible on this. What's going on? And then I went and listened to it and I was like, oh my God. And I pulled the video. So, for what it's worth. What's an option there, Bob? I don't know what you're referencing to. You got to remember there's about a 10-second delay. So I'm not quite sure what option you're talking about. Uh, Hopefully it wasn't about watching my butt. But so anyway, getting back to what Bob Ash Baker talked about on Gorilla Miniature Games. He's a very popular YouTuber that does miniatures, and he plays and he paint. He doesn't do too much on-stream painting, but he does show you what he painted. And he was kittens and duct tape. Yeah, Bob. Let's make that channel, buddy. Bob, are you on the Discord? Or did you just find, how did you find out about this? The names, I, I don't know where you're from. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're on the Discord channel, if you have a Discord handle, which is different from your YouTube handle. I don't know, but thank you for watching, and I hope you find the stuff entertaining, to say the least. But like I said, what I want to do, like Ash did, is he came forward and he basically said, help the channel out. He doesn't want to do a Kickstarter. I have no shot of doing a Kickstarter. I'm so small, nobody even knows about me, so I wouldn't waste time doing a Kickstarter. That to me doesn't make any sense. But I think I have all the materials I need to make a successful channel. I have this winning personality. And I have the talent. I'm actually a halfway decent miniatures painter. And I think people would like to watch it. Oh, he says it's okay, Bob. No problem. I think I'm on the Discord. I just lucked into the stream tonight. Been a while since I caught you live. Yes, sir. It's been a while since I've been live, and I was supposed to run Palladium Fantasy tonight on my Discord channel, and we run it just through Discord. You can turn on your video. I prefer people to have the video on, but not everybody does. But we roll real dice, and we just do theater of the mind. And so far, it's been working pretty good. I was really surprised that I ran Palladium Fantasy, and the people that are playing it love it, and none of them had played it before. So it was a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll get back to it. It's just two of the players couldn't make it tonight, so we just called it a wash. And like I said, I wasn't feeling too hot still, so I wanted to just take it easy. But I thought I need to put something up on the channel, and I thought this is a good time since I'm gonna go probably radio dark for at least a week, possibly two, because of the move. Now we close October 18th, I believe, when we get the keys to the new house. The current owners wanted a 60-day closing because they're building a house in another town and they needed time and I think that's the only reason we lucked out and we got the house. I will admit, I think we paid about $100,000 too much for the house. I don't think it's worth the price that we paid. But in this market right now, with it going crazy, we can't be here anymore. I hate this. I literally detest waking up in this house. It's a rental. They raised our rent. The landlord doesn't really want to fix too much because he wants us out. He wants to. All the rent is going up in this area. We have a beautiful view of the lake and everything, so he wants to jack the rent up. Remodel this place. And I don't blame him, but I just think there was a better way he could have done it. So it is what it is. But we have a house now. Our mortgage is going to be insane, but it's tight everywhere. Prices are going up for everybody. I get it. But I implore you, if you have an extra $5 a month, support the channel. It goes a long way. Fajuk, speaking of commentating the way Fajuk comment should help the algorithm and your content. Yes, Fajuk, it does. Believe it or not, like I said, YouTube algorithm is everything. If you don't meet that algorithm, you go to the bottom of the list. And so people, it's harder for people to find your content. I mean, yeah, they can do a search, but how many people, I mean, I think most of my viewership comes from people looking for a specific game or an older game. And look at everything I've reviewed. I've got over almost 500 videos up now, and I'd say 98, maybe even 99% are completely tabletop RPG related. There's a couple that are like video game because I tried doing streaming Star Wars, and while I enjoyed it, it was just wasn't my jam. I'm not a huge video game player. I love Star Wars, but I don't have a PC rig that I can play it on right now. I'm a Mac guy. Um, and that's just my preference. I prefer the Mac OS environment, and I know it's not great for gaming, but it is what it is. And I have a Mac Mini M2 that I record and do everything on, and it works great, and I love it. It has some limitations, but it is what it is. I have these nifty Rode mics. You can see there's that. This is the recorder. The other part is the receiver. Um, and they work great. And the nice part is, if I decide to bring a friend into the studio or whatever and do a joint tandem recording, I can hook up another mic to him, and we can do it. So, and that might be a plan moving down the line, because the basement in our house is pretty decent size, and I'm going to have a gaming table set up. Eventually, the long term plan, I would love to rig some cameras on a scaffolding above the table looking down with microphones, directional microphones for my players, and do a live recording. Funny enough, like I said, I have all this spare equipment. I have a spare flat screen TV, and the plan is to put that into a table. I have a MacBook Pro, and I have a MacBook Air. I have an M2 MacBook Air, and I have an old 2013 MacBook Pro Retinal display that still works, still runs, it's up to date, it does everything I need it to do. Um, I just don't use it because the battery's loose in it, and I just haven't taken the time to tear it apart and reseat the battery with some adhesive. Other than that, once I do that, it would be fine. I just haven't done it. So that Mac sits over in the corner and collects dust. But there's nothing wrong with it. So my plan is to use that Mac, hook it up to the TV, and then I can control my maps and everything, and then the players can move their miniatures around on the map because I enjoy painting miniatures, and I have a ton of skinny minis from Dungeon in a Box. And while I love the skinny minis, I hate the Dungeon in a Box company. I think they're just stupid. Their shipping is redonkulous. They don't even get me started. The Kickstarter was pretty well ran, but their Dungeon in a Box is just horrible. I don't recommend supporting it at all. Uh, just buy the miniatures. Arc Knight miniature is another one that makes these like flat plastic acetate type miniatures. They're phenomenal. They work really well. I just went with skinny miniatures because I like the harder, thicker uh, plastic or whatever it is they use, acrylic, I think, and I like it. And the art on either one is phenomenal. You can't go wrong with either one. Plus, I also thought the skinny minis were easier to put in their base. I've done a review of the Kickstarter rewards, and the also I was on the miniature subscription program, which I canceled because I was just they. I don't. They said the majority of people were voting on this stuff, and I don't even want to go into the stupid shit I got for $16 plus. Everything all turns out to like 20 something bucks. Where do you recommend for miniatures? It's funny because I'm talking about it right now. So yeah, Skinny Minis have great art, but I don't know if they ever got around to putting the VTT token version on their website. The If you backed it, Bob, if you backed it, you should have got a link, and you should have gotten all those VTT assets. I believe I got them. I uploaded them to my Foundry. I use the Forge. I have a yearly subscription to the Forge, which I'm probably about to cancel because I'm as much as I love Foundry and I think it's an amazing tool, it's too much tweaking and I don't have the time. I'm having a hard enough time just keeping up with the YouTube channel and everything. So trying to fight with, keeping Foundry up to date, and and I play so many varied games that don't have VTT assets. It's just not worth it for me to pay that money every year and not get anything out of it. So I'm probably going to let my Forge subscription lapse. And if I do use Foundry, I'll just stream from my computer. My Mac is more than powerful enough to run everything. So I think that is probably going to go away. I did back Alchemy as a VTT. If you haven't checked it out, it's alchemyvtt.com or something. Just do a search for VTT Alchemy. And I really think that's going to be the VTT platform of choice for me, because it's a little more free form. It's not so computer. I mean, my days of futzing with computers are kind of gone. I don't work in IT anymore. I'm a warehouse manager, and that's what I like doing. It's an easy job, and when I get home, I don't get phone calls about the servers down or anything. I don't have to work on. I work on hardware when I want to work on hardware, which is the nice part. So, with that being said, um, I've completely lost my train of thought here. But oh yeah, Skinny Mini versus Dungeon in a Box, or Skinny Minis by Dungeon in a Box versus Flat Plastic Miniatures by Arc Knight Design. Both are equally well. I think if I had to do it all over again and spend the money, I would have spent the money on Arc Knight uh, Flat Plastic Miniatures, because while I like the thicker miniatures and they go together better, when you put them in their little round bases, I think I think for the money, I think the flat plastic miniatures is a better deal than what Skinny Mini's doing. And like I said, I was on the miniature subscription plan for them, and I got like mushrooms. I got a whole box. I got like 12 or 16 miniatures of dungeon terrain, cavern terrain. Now everybody votes, and obviously more people want cavern terrain than I do, for sure. But I didn't have use for that. I don't run a lot of games in a cavern, so it didn't really. And I wanted stuff like orcs, dwarven fighters, or siege engines, or things like that. And they sent me, or monsters, just a plethora of monsters, and I didn't get any of that. And I had the subscription box for, I want to say, 4 months, 5 months, and I never got anything that was even remotely useful. I think I got some like displacer beasts, like different types and fairy dragons. I did get some fairy dragons, but again, you know, that's not something that's extremely useful to a GM. A box full of 12 to 16 orcs, or 12 to 16 hobgoblins, or goblins, or bugbears, that would have been useful, but they're not. They say it's community voted. I call hogwash, but if it is, that's fine. Maybe I'm just an old school GM that would rather use have a large palette of monsters to draw from. So, but enough of that rant. Either one is fine, I guess. And if you can go in and purchase whatever flat plastic minis you want, that's the way I would go. So that way you get what you want. Don't do the dungeon in a box. Uh, my biggest beef with the dungeon in a box is I wanted the Pathfinder, because I play IGM Pathfinder second edition, and I wanted all the second edition stuff, and they kept sending me fifth edition. I don't hate fifth edition, but I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to, and WotC right now is an ass company, and Hasbro's even worse, and I don't want to support them in any way, shape, or form. And I know that some people say, well, the indie publishers, yeah, well, you're an indie publisher. You chose to produce stuff for fifth edition. That makes you an asshat in my book. That's horrible to say, and I know it's not going to be the popular opinion, but I don't care. Uh, you're supporting a company that treats its players like shit. Why would you do that? And yeah, you make a cool product where Paizo goes out of its way to take care of their customer, and their policies and their procedures are upfront. They don't. I mean, I've been with Paizo since first edition and Dragon magazine, and they've never ever screwed me. And whenever I've had a problem, they have fixed it. I can't say the same for WotC. I don't want to get on the rant, or piss anybody off, but if you're a third party publisher, I understand why you're publishing for fifth edition. It makes you money. That's great. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to look in the mirror and go, are you doing a good thing? So, Yeah, no more WotC for me. Yeah, independent stuff. I mean, I get it, but I think you're feeding you're feeding the monster. We have to vote with our dollars, and we have to tell WotC that their policies and the underhanded shyster shit they're doing is not acceptable. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt the indie publishers because we shouldn't be buying their stuff either. I know it's not a popular opinion, and I know people aren't going to like it, and I get it. I'm sorry, but I mean, I've been on this earth 56 years, and when you vote with your dollar, people listen. So even if you're buying fifth edition product, WotC's still getting a cut some way because they still got to go out and buy the DMG or the Player's Handbook or the Monster Manual. They're still selling books. They're still making money. I mean, it's really a fine line. Hey, handsome, you want to come say hi to everybody? Well, you got to come here. They can't see you. Ah, oh, he's got his Buzzy the Bumblebee book. This is Norby. This is my 6-year-old son. Can you say hi? Hi. Can you wave? Can you wave? Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. He loves seeing the camera. Yeah, he's missing some teeth. He's losing his teeth. Can you smile? Okay, easy, easy, easy. Smile. Look at those missing teeth. All right, go see mommy. Say bye. Okay. Uh, okay, go outside there. Thank you. Uh, a little impromptu cameo, future YouTube star extraordinaire. Uh, where do you get minis? Fajuk, like I said, Arc Knight Design, they make skinny minis. And then um, dungeoninAbox.com, they make flat plastic miniatures. Those are the two places to get pre-painted. Of course, you've got the Paizo and the WotC. WotC, I think right now is doing all of the Critical Role miniatures, the pre-painted plastics. They are expensive for what you get, and sometimes the paint jobs look horrible but they are 3D miniatures. So if you can't paint miniatures, and I totally understand, uh, yeah, one of those two resources. The other thing is there's 1,001 YouTube tutorials out there on making your own uh, flat pre-printed miniatures. Paizo does their Pogs. They're just cardboard. You put on a little T base, and they're two-dimensional. Those are really nice too. So you can check those out. I got some bad quality from Paizo, and so I returned the set I bought. I just don't like the cardboard. I think after a while it wears out. If somebody spills a soda, which gee, we've never played at a game table where somebody spilled soda, right? Never. Yeah, they're cardboard, so they just absorb the soda and then they're completely ruined. The acrylic skinny minis or the flat plastic miniatures, they're plastic. You spill a soda on them, you wipe them off, you go back to gaming. No big deal. So hopefully that helps. And I'll put it in the chat there. Uh, if you just do a Google search for skinny minis or flat plastic minis. Um, no. So what do we got? Let's see here. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, I'm in emoji mode. Go back to there we go. There we go. So do a Google search on either one of those in the chat there, and you should find roughly what you're looking for. I don't even know how long we've been recording. 44 minutes. So I don't know. I'm feeling good. I'm going to keep going if you guys want to go. I don't know how many people are watching. I guess I can go over here and look. It's not. I don't want to cough because there we go. Let's see. Boop-a-doo. Boop-a-doo. There's 2 people watching. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about is I ran across a game. One of the meanies put it in the channel here, and I was completely blown away by the quality and the just the awesomeness of it. I guess is the only way to put it. Um, I got so many windows open here because I'm a dork. There we go. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Check this out. This is a cool game. Why is it arrowing out on me? Some reason the chat's not playing nice. Hopefully I'm still online. It says I'm still streaming. So someone can post in the, try to pop the chat out again. Let's see here. If I do this, try it one more time. It's still error. Try again. I don't know what the hell's going on here. If can you guys still hear me? Are you able to? Am I still recording? I don't know. It seems like something went wonky. So if someone can post in the chat real quick. Not quite sure what's going on here. I tame this wild beard of mine. But yeah, those are the minis you can find. They work pretty good. Clear here. Okay, yeah. For some reason, thanks, Bob. Some reason it's not letting me post in the chat. I don't know why. It's being bizarro. You would think it should work just fine. There it goes. Yay, it worked. So Nameless is a RPG designer. I've never heard of him before. I don't know anything about him. One of the minis posted in the channel there posted a link to this game called Heroes of Adventure. I don't know if you guys know about this, if you've heard about it. It's kind of a hybrid between OSR and new games, so it has some elements of fifth edition. Tabby, FNF mod with 599 songs. I don't know what that means, Tabby, so please explain. But Heroes of Adventure is extremely well done. It looks like he's used some AI generated art, and I know that's all the kerfuffle right now, and that's fine. But it's up to you. I think, this is a completely free product, by the way. There's a player's guide, a DMG guide, and a monster manual, and then about four or three adventures, and then one just it's basically like 200 and something NPCs that are all playable ready characters. I whipped up a character in literally 5 minutes. I don't know how well you can see that, but I whipped that up in like 5 minutes and I got all my stats. I can play. I got all my attributes, all my skills. Oh, Tabby says it's a FNF is a music game. Is it a tabletop RPG, Tabby, or is this a computer-based game? Because our purview here is not really computer-based games, but someone may like it. I don't know. But yeah, we're all about tabletop RPGs here. So I appreciate you popping in the chat. But if you were expecting video games, not really the purpose of this channel here. But good luck with the project. Hopefully, feel free to put a link in the chat there or in the video description once this goes live. Or if I think you can put comments on the video as it's going live. I don't know because I've never tried. Um, but yeah, Heroes of Adventure, free. Um, the quality is amazing. It is bar none anything I've seen out there in a long time. Oh, yeah, Tabby, we don't do computer games here. We're not computer nerds, or I shouldn't say nerds. We are computer nerds. But yeah, this focus of this channel and this sit and chat is more about tabletop RPGs. But good luck with your product. I hope it works out really well. It sounds interesting for sure. So, but there's probably better channels dedicated to that kind of thing than Mr. Mean Speaks, where, like I said, we're all about tabletop RPGs, which is role playing games if you're not in the know. But yeah, it sounds super cool, and I wish you luck with your product. I hope it goes well for you. Uh, Tabby, you'll have to Google that. Oh, you might have to be a mod. Yeah, so sorry. You can on the comment of the video there on YouTube, you should be able to post a link to your chat or to your product. But good luck. Um, But Heroes of Adventure is fan made. It appears this designer named Nameless. It's done under Creative Commons, and it is wow. We're going to play tomorrow on the channel. My good buddy Brian is going to run it. Uh, I think he's going to do. I printed it because I was going to run it, but I haven't started reading it. So, if Brian, if you watch this, please be aware I'm not cheating. Lair of the Mutant, I printed it, and I was going to take it to the store and get it spiral bound. Um, but I may still do that. I actually want to print, but I'm not going to because the more shit I make right now, the more shit I got to move into my new house. So, you know what that means. But the PDFs are very well laid out. The designer gives instructions if you want to print to Lulu Press, and I may do that. Excuse me, once I get moved into the new house, because I would love to have this as a physical book. I think it would be amazing, and I think I would probably print the Player's Handbook. No, Tabby, sorry, I'm not going to make you a mod. Like I said, this isn't the place for computer games. We're a tabletop RPG. So I appreciate you stopping in the chat, but you probably want to look for another channel that's more towards video games. But like I said, you should be able to put a comment down in the video of the YouTube video because you're watching this on YouTube. You should be able to just put a comment down there. And that would be awesome if you did. I wouldn't have a problem. Yes, Brian I, Fajuk, is going to run the game tomorrow at about I believe I said noon my time. I have some errands to run in the morning with the wife, I believe, unless I get a reprieve, which would be nice, but I don't know. And then I was going to run it, but Brian's going to run it. Um, and yes, that is Brian I on the Discord. So Bob, if you're not on the Discord, pop in there and check it out, man. And if you like kind of a old school yet modern take on RPGs. So I made a dwarven monk, and what I like about this system, and I'm going to do an in-depth review, but the player's handbook is like 64 pages. The DMG is like 68 pages, full color, laid out really well. I mean, the production quality on here is amazing. Uh, and the art is phenomenal. Like I said, he gives credit to everyone. It's made under Creative Commons. So you can print this out, you can distribute it. As long as you don't sell it, you can use the mechanics, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, very cool. But my first level dwarven monk, which is called a Northman, uh, uh, it has 17 hit points, has a defense of 10, and then I have some skills. And what's neat about the game is it's all open source, so anybody can add to this, can subtract. What really grabbed me is the mechanics. It's a D20 mechanic. You want to roll over, but you get to add either a skill or an attribute, whatever's pertinent or whatever's better. So if you have a melee skill of a D8, but you have a strength of a D6, well then you roll the D8 because that's obviously better. Your chances are better. And it's kind of neat in how the mechanics work. I'm not going to go over the mechanics here, but I think I put the link in the chat there. Yep, I sure did. So go check it out. It's a super cool game. We're going to play tomorrow. Brian's going to run. There's a book of I think it's 222 or 225 NPCs. So you could download that if you don't want to make a character. There's a couple in the book in the player's handbook as well that you can just download and run with those. I mean, it's literally a little 3x5 card turned lengthwise. Just so happen to have a little, you know, it's one of these. There's a portrait on the top half, and then the stats fit in the bottom. And I mean, you're good to go. You're ready to play. So it's very fast. I think it's very succinct. The mechanics are easy to pick up. It's a D20 rollover. You get to use a bunch of your other funny dice, so you're not just rolling a D20. And everything else just goes right. It appears to flow smoothly. There's no uh, like D&D and Pathfinder have range increments. 10 feet, 20 feet, whatever, 5 feet. You can take a 5 foot step. Yada yada yada. Um, this has range bands. I am a big fan of range bands, especially in fantasy games. It just to me makes more sense, and it ties up less time in the game, and you can do things. So in this game, you have a succinct set of options that you can do, and the rules make it very clear. And I just thought it was very well done. So I'm not sure who posted it in the Discord, but whoever, I'll have to scroll back up and look. But thank you for that because it was phenomenal. I downloaded everything, and like I said, I'm gonna probably print it and spiral bound it and have it. I think it's gonna be probably one of my go-to fantasy games. And the point I was trying to make before I got sidetracked was they give you enough information for a world setting, but yet leave it open enough that you can put your own information in there. So I'm a huge fan of the Warhammer universe, but I don't the Warhammer what is it? I don't know what edition we're on. The Cubicle 7 version. I think it's fourth, third or fourth. Cubicle 7's versions of the rules are fantastic, but they are dense. There's a lot of rules. And that's fine if you're into that kind of game. But as I get older, I like more streamlined games. I like games that I can just pick up and run and I don't have to do a ton of work. I love Palladium Fantasy. I think it's a really good set of rules for what it is. The problem is there's no pre-statted NPCs or monsters. You've got to roll every monster up. Maybe people say, "Oh, you can just take the average." That's still work I got to do and prep time I got to do, and I don't have that kind of time. So it makes it a game that I don't want to run. I mean, I ran it for a couple of times and I've enjoyed it, and the players have enjoyed it, but it's a lot of work on my part to put the adventure together because none of the NPCs, none of the monsters have pre-done stats. You have to sit down and roll dice or take the average of and it's just a pain in the ass. Whereas, to have a monster manual with the stats already there and you're just good to go, it's then I can take that Palladium adventure that I possibly want to use and just use Heroes of Adventure because I've got pre-statted monsters, pre-statted NPCs. I got a book of 222, I think it's 222 NPCs ready to go, fleshed out. How can you beat that? So, and not to say that Palladium's a bad game. I like the game. Uh, yeah, Bob. Bob says I like Palladium, but we're all getting too old for that. Yes, Bob, you are absolutely correct. But I do enjoy running it. I like the mechanics. I like the way armor rating and everything works in Palladium Fantasy. I even like Rifts as much as I bag on Kevin Symbieta or however you say his name, Sambadia, whatever. Uh, my ears are getting tweaked here. I gotta fix them. I should probably get a haircut one day, but I haven't cut my hair in 35 years, so I have a lot of hair. Um, which I guess I shouldn't be bitching because I know guys that are half my age that are completely bald. You know, but yeah. So check out Heroes of Adventure. I think it's really cool. Um, and it's free. I mean, that's the best price in the world, and everybody's got access to printers nowadays. So print you a copy and get it to your local gaming group and see how they like it. I'm excited. I'm going to play tomorrow. Brian's going to run, but I'm eventually going to run it. I think this is one that I would like to run on the channel as a regular game. It's really sparking me that much. And I really just like the simplicity of it. It's fast, it's engaging. The world is defined but yet open enough that I can do my own thing. I'm a big fan of Nurgle in the Warhammer universe, and especially in fantasy and that corruption and everything. Papa Nurgle, Grandfather Nurgle, and Lord knows I was praying to him last week, but um, I like being able to put that in there. And my friend um, Andrew Merrington uh, from Grammel Design, he did a book that's pretty much Nurgle. It's about disease and decay and everything for First Fantasy Publishing, I believe is his company, or First Fantasy Game. Yeah, I have the book. It's just buried somewhere. I'm going to use that in there because I think it's just awesome. He's got all kinds of corruptions and a weird cult and everything. It's phenomenal. Fajuk says, think chat is eating my messages. Have you done a video on Dungeon Crawl Classic? If so, know what I am doing later. Chat keeps arrowing on me. Yeah, I don't know, guys. That's a YouTube thing. That's nothing on me. It arrowed out on me. It wouldn't let me put links in there, but it seems to be working now. So I do apologize, but it's out of my control. That's a YouTube thing. Everything seems to be working on my end. The stream seems to be going good. No drop frames. Recording is CPU usage is really low. So yeah, uh, yeah. Shadow of the Demon Lord. I would agree with you. If I was to run Shadow of the Demon Lord using the Warhammer world, I think that would be a much better system because it is very fluid, it's very fast. I'm not a huge fan of gaining a level every adventure. I think you level too quickly in the game, but that was what he was going for. Robert Schwab is a super awesome guy. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've gamed with him at conventions and stuff. He's super nice. What can I say? As far as Fajuk, yes, Dungeon Crawl Classic. I have several videos on Dungeon Crawl Classic. So go in the archives there and look. I think if you just do Mr. Mean Speaks Dungeon Crawl Classic, it should pull up a list of videos for you. I think I've done 3 or 4. Thanks, Bob. I'm glad that you hold me personally responsible for everything YouTube does. I got big shoulders, but they ain't that big, buddy. Yeah. He did work on second edition Warhammer Fantasy. Actually, maybe you might want to say third edition, which is the Green Ronin version. He did work on that. He's real good friends with Chris Pramis and all the guys over at Nicole Lindros and Hal Mangold, the guys over at Green Ronin, as you're supposed to say it, which I just find pretentious. It's Green Ronin. That's what I'm saying. If you don't like it, and every time I say it, Chris Nicole more so than Chris corrects me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm from Brooklyn. You're lucky I walk upright. I'm not changing. But yeah, the Green Ronin version of Warhammer is probably to this day my favorite version, aside from the original second edition. The first edition had very sparse magic rules, and then Games Workshop redid it with more verbose magic rules. And some people don't consider it a second edition; they just consider it like 1.5 or whatever. But they changed a couple of things in the rules, so I consider it a true second edition. And then I consider the Hogshead version that was done by Hogshead Publishing to be a revision. It's not a full edition. And then Green Ronin came out, so that's the third edition. So I don't even count the Fantasy Flight board game. That is an abomination to man and shall not be mentioned. Although I do think it's cool, and I don't own any of it, but I do think it's cool. Um, oh, thank you for serving in the forces. Hey, man, thank you. Yeah, I'm proud to be a two-time war veteran. I served in Grenada with the U.S. Coast Guard on the Coast Guard cutter Woodrush, and then I served in Operation Desert Storm uh, just shortly after 9/11 happened. Some of the first boots on the ground when that whole incident happened. So thank you guys. I was fortunate. I was only over there for 2 weeks, and then I got to come back. So a little bit over 2 weeks, but yeah, I was in country. And that's a whole different story. We won't go into it. But yes, I've done my time, as they say. Um, and a big thank you to all the veterans and everybody out there suffering from PTSD. I suffer from it. Um, it is a horrible, horrible disease, affliction, whatever you want to call it. So, role playing games are my way to deal with PTSD. So, thank you guys for helping me because by engaging with you guys, I feel better all the time. So, thank you. Um, so yeah, Green Ronin I think is my favorite version of Warhammer, though I am a big fan of Cubicle 7's version. In fact, you can't see it here on the screen, but I have almost, well, I don't have almost all, but I have quite a bit of the Cubicle 7 books. I have the core rule book. I just got the Winds of Magic book in the mail about 3 weeks ago. I got it right before I got sick. Uh, and it's phenomenal. I had printed it, but I printed it, as a, see, I think it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. I printed, I do this a lot with PDFs. I just print it black and white. I have a black and white laser jet and I just print it off. It's not too badly washed out, but it's a very workable, viable copy, so I'll probably wind up sending this out as a Patreon reward I don't charge anything for it. I send it at my cost to, I roll it. I have a random die generator and I randomly roll for one of my Patreons, and whoever gets it, I send it to them. I have some Patreon members like Andrew Merrington, who is in Dubai, uh, you know, in the UAE. So sending it to him is extremely expensive. So I don't. I just usually buy, and I have some. I think one of my Patreon members is in France or something, Israel. I don't remember. They're all over the world. There's meanies everywhere. But those guys, I just send like a $20 gift certificate to drive through RPG. So another reason to join the join the Patreon. Or people say, I'm just reading the comments here. So Fajuk says there are people who say my parents because they didn't serve in a war aren't veterans. Uh, that's a tough one, Fajuk. I think you're up in Canada, if I remember correctly, and I know Canada has a different view on things. But as an American, my opinion is if you didn't serve in the military, then you didn't serve in the military. If you were a contractor and you worked alongside military people, you're still a civilian. I mean, I had a firearm and I wore, fatigues and I was on the front line. So I served in a combat, zone. So that I think that makes you a veteran. Now, if you were stateside during the whole Desert Storm or Desert Shield or Grenada or, Somalia events, but you were in the military, you're still a veteran. You're just not a combat veteran. There's not a lot of people that can say they're a combat veteran. So yeah, that's if they sign that contract, that counts to me. Yeah, I mean, if they signed a contract with the military, and they put on the uniform, I think they're a veteran. Now, if you signed a contract and you're a civilian, you know, then you're a civilian. You're not a veteran. I'm sorry. That's just the definition of veteran is someone who served in military wartime. So I guess you can't really be a veteran if you didn't serve in the military. That's how I read it. I could be wrong. I don't, if your government considers you a veteran as a civilian, then good for you. You count. Either way, even if you were a civilian and you served with the military, I think that yeah, that's basically the thing. Oh, no, no. Okay, Fajuk, I get what you're saying. Basically, the argument was only combat veterans are veterans. No, that is incorrect. If you were in the military in a wartime, or if you were in the military, period, wartime or not, you're a veteran. You veteran. I bit my tongue there. You are a veteran. You served your country. Cookie. Your cooks. Your mechanics, your flight crew. Those are all veterans of mine. They can't. You wouldn't. I was a combat engineer, 12 Bravo. I blew things up. I dealt with explosives. If I don't have that supply sergeant to give me those explosives, I can't do my job. So that supply sergeant is a veteran as far as I'm concerned. That engineer that makes the explosives or puts them together for me to go out and deploy them is a veteran because he's helping me do my job. And he's in the, if you've got a DD 214 or whatever the Canadian equivalent is, you're a veteran. I don't care what anybody said. And Fajuk, if anybody's telling your parents differently, tell them to piss off. If they don't like it, come see Mr. Mean. I got a 9mm or a 5.56. I'm flexible, or 10mm. I got 10mm shit. So uh, I got lots of armor and ammunition. Uh, oh, your mom was a supply tech. Yeah, so there you go, man. Thank you to your mom and thank her for serving. And yeah, she's a veteran in my book. Uh, guys, I'm running out of shit to talk about unless somebody gives me some topics here. We talked about Heroes of Adventure. It's amazing. Go check it out. We've talked about flat plastic miniatures. Does anybody have any interest in miniature paints? My view on what paints are, or a good airbrush or paints. Uh, Let me know. Put it in the chat there. Let's talk about it. 'Cause if not, I'm going to sign off and go to bed because I'm old and grumpy. Uh, I'm not grumpy. I'm just old. I'm not even that old. I'm kind of good looking if you ask me. I mean, look at that big forehead. Look at that hairline. I got lots of hair. Thought I was going bald for a while, guys. I was losing so much hair, and then I realized every summer I lose a ton of hair. It's just I'm like a dog. I shed. Bob, I put it up earlier in the chat. If you scroll up in the chat, you should be able to find it. It's not on drive-through, it's free. Let me see if I still have the link. Yep, there you go, sir. There's the link. And it's on itch.io or itch.io, itch.io. I don't know how you say that. I'm a big dumb kid from Brooklyn. And like I said, we're going to be playing it tomorrow on Discord. So if you can drop by the Discord and you want to play, we'll have pre-gens. It's no problem. So yeah, I think 11 o'clock CST, Central Standard Time, we'll be playing. Yeah, cool. I hope you enjoy it. One thing I will say about miniature painting, because I know Fajuk said he can't paint. I think he has a medical issue or a physical limitation, which is fine. I get that. But I will say, if I've run into so many people that say, I can't paint, and they have no physical limitation or no disabilities. They just say, oh, I can't. I tried painting miniatures. I can't paint. There is not one single miniature painter on YouTube or anywhere. If you've seen amazingly painted videos, there's not one of them that started out and just spit out an amazing miniature. Not one of them. The great thing about Fajuk works overnight, but enjoy your game. Ah, thanks, Fajuk. Yeah, I know you work nights, so you're going to be asleep at 11 o'clock your time. Um, the great thing about miniature painting is it is what we call a learned skill, like carpentry. You don't just walk out and amazingly you build amazing wood cabinets. It's a learned skill. You put the procedures and the uh, information that you have learned to use through your hands. And again, barring a physical limitation or an ailment, uh, it's a learned skill. So the more you do it, the more you learn about it, the better you will get. I wish I still had the first miniature I ever painted because it looks like someone painted it with a Q-tip and oil paint. It was egregious to say the minimum. And then let me hold on one second. Let me change the camera here. Change this back. Apologize. Um, These are just a smattering of some of the things I've painted because I had them handy. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. Yeah, it's not going to show up too well. But you can see, if I put a white sheet of paper behind it, does that help at all? No, that's even worse. Earl of Fife, hey buddy. That's a Games Workshop Undead Wolf, I think from the vampire accounts I painted. And again, it's kind of hard to see the quality here with the lighting. This is a troll I painted from D&D Miniatures I painted. And I think he came out really well. The lighting is, man, the light's just killing me here. I don't know what I can do to make it any better. I don't know if that, oh, that helps a little bit. Yeah, there we go. A little bit more light on the situation. So that's a troll I painted, and then I got into the miniature game Last Argument of Kings. I really enjoy it, and there's a faction called the City States, and they have minotaurs, and this is a minotaur I painted. So as you can see, it came out really. I think it came out fantastic. So yeah, so miniature painting is a skill. It's not a talent. It's a skill and it can be improved upon just like anything that you do in life. Driving a car, race car drivers, yeah, they have innate fast reflexes and stuff, but they learn how to drive a race car. So my argument to people who say they can't paint miniatures is bullshit. You just have to paint them. Let's see what's going on in chat here. Yeah, so Fajuk says he has muscle spasms and he could spend the time to fight it. I have a good friend. He runs he's not a good friend, but he's a fellow YouTuber that runs hobby crafting and he paints miniatures and he has the shakes. So he has to brace himself. So he has a sit to stand table and he braces himself so that he can paint. He has to put one hand on top of the other to paint. There's another guy that runs a YouTube channel out of England called MS Paints. He has MS. And so, yeah, I totally get you, Fajuk. But you know what? You spend your energies where you feel they are best done. Uh, and that's all that matters. Earl of Fife Games. There's a sexy sumbitch. He makes an awesome game called, I have it right here. Heroes and Hardships is in the chat, so everybody give them a warm welcome. If you haven't picked this game up, do yourself a favor, go get it. Mr. Mean highly endorses it. It is amazing. It is a wonderful game. You can play anything you want to play. It's got lots of good stuff in it, and it is worth every penny. And He's got some new supplements. Got a new Kickstarter about to drop. Uh, I'd like to get him on the channel and do a chit chat with him. I think that would be awesome. Uh, uh, and I forgot his first name. Jeez. I just know him as Earl of Fife because I've never really spoken with him. He's the funny part is he's on my Discord, I think more than he's on his own, which is a huge compliment. Thank you so much. But we've played a lot of his game on the channel. And everybody who's played it has really enjoyed it. It's a D10 dice pool system. And you can play any genre you want. We started an Alternity game, if you remember the old WotC Eternity. We converted it to Heroes and Hardships, and it went amazing. And we had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, he's been very supportive of the channel. So thank you, sir. If I could remember your name and not feel like a complete idiot right now, I would. Uh, but for some reason, I am just spasming on your first name, and I know it. Uh, see if it's in his book. Let's cheat. Uh, Jason Duff, I believe, is the owner of Earl of Fife. So TSR, not WotC. I believe it was TSR butting into WotC at the time. Ty Hiller says, I'm watching at double speed to catch up. I'm almost there. Front cover of the book. Duh. Well, Jason, I can't read. Come on. I'm from Brooklyn. I look at the pretty pictures. That's all I do. Forget about it, huh? That's awesome. Jason, thank you so much for popping in. Uh, that's really cool. A famous person in our industry is on the live chat. That's amazing. So thank you, Ty. Thanks. I don't know if you're on my Discord or not. If you're not, I'd highly recommend you join. It's a lot of fun, as Jason Duff from Earl of Fife can attest. Uh, and Jason says he would be happy to talk sometime. Yes, sir. You are an extremely busy young man, so we'd have to make time, but we will make time, sir. I would love to do an interview with you. One of the things I love to do is talk to indie designers about the whole Kickstarter process, because there is this fallacy that you put your game up on Kickstarter and you become a millionaire. I hate to say that, but it is truly what people think, and it is anything further from the truth. I have talked to so many developers that have done Kickstarters, and they've literally either barely broken even or they've come out at a loss. And I hope that is not the situation for you, and I don't think it is. But I just know that everybody thinks, oh, he did a Kickstarter, he made $42,000. He's rich. No, he probably spent $48,000 in shipping costs, or printing costs, because printing right now is crazy, and all the drama and the headaches that go up with that. And we'll talk about that on the video. And then it would be nice to talk about your new Kickstarter that's coming off. So we'd have to do that sometime soon. Plan for your worst case success, Fred Hicks. Fred Hicks is an amazing guy. I'm not a big fan of the fate system, but I do like it. It's not 4K. Yeah. Yeah, 4K. And now, Jason, is that what you made, or negative 4K? I don't have my glasses on and I took my contacts out. So I don't think he meant to put that up there. Sorry, I just blurted it out for everybody. But yeah, so yeah, that tells you. I mean, it's I love Kickstarter and I hate Kickstarter. I to be honest, I wish Kickstarter was for what it was intended to be. Kickstarter was intended to be for guys like Jason who had an awesome concept, who had the material and the design and the theory done and just needed cash up front for the implementation. But unfortunately, Kickstarter has become a pre-order system for a lot of companies. Uh, oh, it's Inalor. Hey, Ty. Thank you, sir. I didn't put the two names together. Because I know Inalor as Ty, because he has it in parentheses. So awesome, dude. Thank you. Yes, Jason, we will explain it over an interview. But yeah, I totally get it. Kickstarter is, like I said, I love hate relationship. If they would have kept Kickstarter for what it was intended for, and we didn't have companies like Monty Cook, um, Ulysses Spiel. I hate to say it as much as I love The Dark Eye and Fading Suns. Ulysses Spiel does it quite a bit too. They're guilty. To a certain degree, Pinnacle does it. These are all big name RPG companies with staffs, decent staff, decent revenue, and they use Monty Cook is the worst. His Fading Sun game and his all of his the Strange and all of those the Cipher system. This Monty Cook is a guy who can just go to any publishing company and say, "I want to make a book," and they would just give him money to do it. And unfortunately, he uses Kickstarter as a pre-order system to say he uses Kickstarter in the bad way. And I don't mean that to be negative to Monty Cook because I do like his games. They're not for me, but I do like his games. But he uses Kickstarter as a pre-order system so that he doesn't lose money on a bad print run. And I get it; it makes sense. It just annoys me that it puts guys like Jason, Earl of Fife, or my good friend Jay Lasarde, it puts them on a back pedal for people competing for that money. You only have X amount of disposable income. I don't care who you are. You only have X amount of disposable income. So when you get a guy like Monty Cook putting a game out and a guy like Jay Lasarde putting, a game out, you've heard of Monty Cook. You've never heard of Jay Lasarde. So who are you going to give your money to? There's a few out that will go, oh, I'll take a chance on that little guy. But most people are going to go, oh, Monty Cook, oh, Monty Cook. He helped write third edition of D&D. I give him money. I think that's the wrong reason. I think Kickstarter. Uh, So yeah, Kickstarter for cool comic books. Yes, totally agree, Fujok. And that market still exists, but even it is getting small with a lot of companies starting to, they've realized because of companies like Pinnacle and Ulysses and Monty Cook, they've realized that they can use that platform as a pre-order and they don't waste any money, in other words, is what I'm saying. Whereas supposed to be a platform for indie designers. I think Monty Cook is not considered an indie designer. I don't think Pinnacle is an indie designer. I think those are major players in the RPG market. Ulysses Spiel is a major player. They're not a major player in the US, but they are in the European market. And so I don't think it's fair. I think it's a very uneven playing field for the market for the economies and the buckets of money, so to speak, of where to spend your hobby dollar at. And so again, we have to vote with our dollar. We talked about this earlier. Good night, Fujok buddy, by the way, and be safe at work. We have to vote with our dollar. That's the only voice we have in the hobby industry. I can make a million and one videos like this bitching about game companies. It won't matter because people will still go out. Free League. Free League's another one. I mean, yeah, they just did Dragonbane, and they have enough money and clout. I feel that they don't need to go to Kickstarter to make a game. If Free League spent, well, and here's the thing, they don't have to spend any money up front on Kickstarter. Nobody does. That's the nice part about it. Kickstarter does the advertise, but that's also why they take 7%. So what a lot of people don't know is Kickstarter's not free. Kickstarter gets a cut of your money. Backer Kit gets a cut of your money. I think Backer Kit is even more egregious than Kickstarter. I think Backer Kit takes 10%, I think, or 9%. I can't remember. Somebody told me the numbers, and I was flabbergasted when I heard how much they take. So be aware of where your hobby dollar is going, I guess, is what it really boils down to. I would much rather, I mean, I missed the Kickstarter for Heroes and Hardships. I really did. But I did go to the Kickstarter page when I found out about it, and I ordered directly from his website. And I got my book at the same time the Kickstarter guys were getting their books. So kudos to Jason for that logistical nightmare that he made work somehow. I think maybe the Kickstarter backers might have got their book a week or two before me, but it was pretty close. I went on his Kickstarter page and I still saw people posting, hey, just got my book after I had already gotten mine. So, I mean, there's logistical delays and everything like that with doing a Kickstarter, and it is a nightmare for anybody that doesn't know. So, kudos to you, Jason, for dealing with that. Um, much respect, and it's hard. My friend Jason over at Feral Games Inc. Same thing. He's got a number of games. The Delve, uh, last or I can't think of the name. He's got Ghost Ops is a big popular one of his, um, and excuse me, all of those were Kickstarter games that he put out on Kickstarter, and they all did really well. Nowhere near as well as Monty Cook or anything, and there's no, hey, pull your pink shirt up. Are you going to bed?
Yes.
Are you going to give me a big hug? Oh, thank you. I love you. Have a good night.
My dad.
Oh, yeah, you can get it. Good night. Sorry, my little guy's going to bed. I got a tickle in my throat. I apologize. Hold on one second. Ah, hopefully that didn't blow anybody's eardrums out. Um, but yeah, all these big companies using Kickstarter to basically use it as a pre-order system. Uh, Uh, Ty says 90% of what I back is from small creators. If it's a big creator, I typically buy it when it comes out. Yeah, that's a great way to do it, Ty. Sorry, I just got a tickle in my throat. I apologize. It's a great way to do it. And that's what I'm doing more. Of course, I'm in scrimp mode now because I'm buying a house. So I have to be very frugal with my money now, moving forward. So finding Heroes of Adventure for free, and I don't know who posted. Was that you, Ty, that posted that on the Discord, or was that somebody else that posted the link to Heroes of Adventure? Because I'm telling you, it's a knock out of the park, dude. It's really well done. But back to the Kickstarter thing, it was done for indie creators and small press, for people that didn't have a production house, didn't have the capital, the upfront money to produce something, whether it be a widget for a computer, a new program, or a comic book, or a novel, or a video montage, or whatever. That's what Kickstarter is for. It's for those people to get the resources to make something that they feel passionate about. And I just think Monty Cook, he's the number one. He's the most biggest abuser of Kickstarter I've seen. And so I don't buy his products. That's just me. That's how I vote with my dollar. I'm not telling you not to buy it. Insert disclaimer here. That's just my opinion. If you like Monty Cook games, by all means support them. Do what you feel is right. Spend your money how you want. But I don't support big indie distributors. Most of my Pinnacle games I have bought through the Pinnacle website and not through their Kickstarter program. I think they use Backer. They're real big on Backer. Backer Kit, I think, is what it's called. Maybe with a wink and a nudge, 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 wink, wink. And I think it was you, Ty, but I don't know for sure. Somebody posted it, and it just went gangbusters, and I downloaded it, and I was super impressed. So video coming soon. Let's a little hint there of what's next on the channel. But yeah, I have a real beef with that, especially with Monty Cook and all the other guys. So a little bit Free League, as Jason pointed out, I don't think they're as egregious. Um, because I do think, even though they've had a hit with Kids on Bikes and Simba Room, and even they cashed out on the 5e cash cow. They jumped on the bandwagon and made Simba Room and a 5e. And from what I've heard, it's really well done. So kudos to them. But then I heard, it was a Pinnacle no, Midgard, no, Midnight, which I think was done. It was a 3.5, or I think it was a 3.0 version of D&D. It was a setting called Midnight, and it was basically what if Sauron had won without using the Lord of the Rings IP. But it was basically this evil mage, big powerful mage, and all the orcs had overrun and now were in charge. It's so basically Sauron won, and now you're living under that yoke. And they jumped on I don't know the original creators. I don't know who it was that did it, but they threw it up on they did a they think they did a Kickstarter for 5e, and then they put it on they did it under a Kickstarter license, and it did really well, but don't quote me on that. That's what I'm trying to say is I'm not sure if it was a Kickstarter or not a Kickstarter, but either way. Ty says he wishes he could play tomorrow for the Heroes of Adventure, but he's got a DCC game and a WEG Star Wars. Hey, let's roll a giant bucket load of D6s. Um, I love WEG, but I hate playing it. I never GM'd it because I knew I don't like D6 games. I'm not a fan of most D6 games. And not that WEG Star Wars was a bad game. It was not, but it was just not the game for me. I like the Fantasy Flight version of Star Wars. The Edge of the Empire is my favorite. But anyway, getting back to Midnight, uh, I don't remember if it was a Kickstarter or not, but they released it as a 5e title, and I heard it was horrible. They also released a 5e version of Dark Souls, and I heard it was abysmal. And so it's just all this garbage product coming out. It reminds me of the 3.5 glut when companies were just throwing stuff out for 3.5, basically just to make money. And there's a few companies that did it and did it well. Green Ronin did it. They came out with a number of supplements that were very well done and very well received. I don't think Pinnacle did anything for 5th edition. Pinnacle's always done kind of its own thing. They may have done some supplements for 5th edition. I'm not sure. Midnight was a pre-order. Hey, Ron Fraser, another YouTuber who talks about games just like I do. I love Ron. Ron runs an awesome channel. Ron, you should put a link to your channel in the chat if you can. That would be awesome. Ron Fraser, super cool guy. I've gamed with him. We played Everyday Heroes, which I'm not a 5e fan, but I enjoyed Everyday Heroes. I enjoyed it so much I went out and bought the book. So Ron, it's all your fault. So Ron is an older gamer like me. I'm not sure if he's quite as ancient as me, but I know he's close. Pinnacle did Weird Wars D20 for a while. Yes, that's what I was remembering. They did a D20 there. That was during the 3.5 glut. I don't think they've done anything with 5th edition, but Pinnacle's in a weird position right now where they're hot. I mean, they're the second. So Roll20, as much as I don't like Roll20, they have a great statistics. They have a pie chart that shows all the games that are being played on Roll20, and it's strictly to Roll20. It doesn't take into account Foundry or Fantasy Grounds or any of the other Owlbear or Alchemy or anything like that. And basically what they do is they rank the most played games in this pie chart. And of course, WotC's always at the top. 5th edition is always at the top. It fluctuates every once in a while. Sometimes World of Darkness is a big chunk, but Pinnacle is always in the top 5. Most likely the top 3 most of the time, from what I see. But more of a flood than a glut. Brian, you are absolutely correct, good sir. Yeah, it was a flood, and that was the heyday of gaming for Brian. For Brian Isakoff, he is the former owner operator of 2D6 Feet and a Random Direction podcast, which I appeared on several times. And Brian is an awesome guy. He's going to be our GM for tomorrow's Heroes of Adventure game, which I'm super stoked. And Brian, I already gave out the disclaimer. I printed it because I was planning on running it, and then you stepped up to the plate. So I appreciate that. But I'm still going to read it, just not tonight or tomorrow. I'll wait until after you run it, and then I'm going to want it. Let's see. Brian says was running some Star Trek Adventures this evening with some of your meanies. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's one of the other things that I'm really, really, really impressed about is that the channel, my Discord channel, is a meeting house for everybody to play games. So uh, that was a good show. Yes, Bob Vecna. Brian, you've got the owner of the Hand of Vecna, Bob Vecna, in the chat there with you. It just cracks me up that I don't know if that's your real name, Bob, or if that's just a nom de plume, but it cracks me up. Yeah, Brian is a phenomenal GM. He's probably one of the few people I let GM for me because I'm a handful, and I know it. That's why I prefer to GM. I'm a ham. I want the center stage, and just ask Brian. I love to fill up explosives in a escape pod and send them back to the bad guys. Um, Somebody gave a heart. Yay! Um, uh, I don't sign my checks that way. Oh, you sign your checks the hand of Vecna. Yes, thank you, Ron. Ron said, I love that people play games on your channel, whether you love them or not. Yeah, it's not about me, it's for you guys. A couple of the guys came forward and said, hey, can you create a covert ops channel so we can play on your channel? And I was like, sure, no problem. And then right now, Inalore, Ty in the chat right now is running in place of me on Wednesday nights where I used to run the Castles and Crusades, but we're running it in the House of Mean or in the Wednesday night game. So yeah, it's a place, it's a community for you guys, and I love all you guys. You guys are amazing. You make me laugh, and it's just awesome that we have all these indie publishers in there and they're willing to help guys. We created a help pub channel so that you can, if you're a budding publisher or designer, game designer, and you want assistance or advice, you can go in there and you can get said advice. So I think that's amazing. Uh, uh, Ron says he's interested in the Worldwide Wrestling RPG. Well, Ron, good for you. I have no desire in that. I I come from the wrestling days of Jake the Snake, uh, Eric Von. Oh God, I don't remember his name. It was the Claw, but it's Powered by the Apocalypse. See, I like Powered by the Apocalypse, but I come from the days of Junkyard Dog and Jake the Snake and all those guys. So yeah, we have some great players in that group, and I'm glad that we added a couple more and that they get to play a game that they enjoy. And that's really what it's about. It's about the community. It's not about Mr. Mean. It's not about the meanies. It's about the community and everybody that feels comfortable playing in that safe zone. Baron von Raschke. Yes. Yeah. Ivan the Terrible was a wrestler back in my day. So I got out of it when wrestling became soap opera for men, when the whole Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, that whole thing, they did the marriage and then the ring. That just to me, it turned into soap opera for men, and I just wasn't into it. I wanted to see a bunch of steroid freaks screaming into a microphone and beating the shit out of each other. And when it deviated from that and became soap opera for men, I had no interest in it whatsoever. And I haven't watched it since. So, that's many, many years ago. I'm really showing my age. Um, uh, yeah, so Ron, I say Nacho Libre. Yes, that's more my wrestling style. uh, Coco B, he's in the Wednesday night game, playing in the Wednesday night Worlds Without Number. It's all right. Just kidding. It's super fun. Yes, in fact, as a tangent of Worlds Without Numbers, which I think is a phenomenal, it's really good mechanic. And I'm not a 2D6 mechanic guy. I don't like the 2D6 game systems very often. I like Worlds Without Numbers and I like Cities Without Numbers. Um, Cities Without Numbers is the new cyberpunk one from, I think it's Michael Crawford is the designer's name. It's something Crawford. Um, and very successfully run Kickstarter. He doesn't do a lot of stretch goals. He's very succinct, and his stuff comes out pretty on time. I didn't back Worlds or it's what Worlds Without Numbers, and what's the fantasy or what's the site Stars Without Numbers. I didn't back either one of those. I didn't back Worlds Without Numbers because I didn't know about it. It came out and it was a thing, and I was like, I had never heard of this game before. But he always does a free version of his game. The only difference between them is the free version will have a little less content, nothing that'll keep you from playing the game. It's not like it's a paywall, and less art. But the full version has the cool art and will have like a little expanded upon GM or world setting or whatever. You get a little more bang for your buck because you paid for the product, but you can get the free version, and it's very well done. And I have the free version of the other two. Uh, yeah, Bob, you are correct. The world building information in there and any of the Without Numbers games is phenomenal. I'm super excited for Cities Without Numbers because that is going to be his cyberpunk type genre game, and I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of Jeremy Crawford, thank you. Uh, I don't know, Ty. I think you should get Cities Without Numbers. It's really good. But then again, you're a flexible GM like me, like Bry. You've got all the mechanics you already need. The nice thing is they are putting in the I think in the full paid version, you're going to get some mechanics that will allow you to use magic from Worlds Without Numbers in Cities Without Numbers. And what that basically does is, for those of you like me that hate, literally detest the Shadowrun rules mechanics, you could run Shadowrun in Cities Without Numbers with the plugin of Worlds Without Numbers, because you could get your fantasy races and you could get your magic, and then you've got your cyber deck and everything. So yeah, uh would I do that? No. I don't think I'll ever run any of the Without Numbers games because, like I said, I'm not a huge 2d6 GM fan. The mechanics just don't spark me enough to want to run the game. And I have other games that I could run those settings in, like Low Life 2099 is a phenomenal cyberpunk game, and that is the mechanics that I would prefer to use for a cyberpunk game if I was running it. That's not to say that I wouldn't play in a Cities Without Numbers game. I would totally play in it. Codex of the Black Sun. See, I don't even know what that is, Bry, but it sounds cool. Oh, well, Ty, if you're not a fan of Cyberpunk, then yeah, totally skip it. Uh, don't waste money on something you're not going to use, right? Neuromancer is pretty solid. Snow Crash was pretty good too. So yeah, I mean, I'm old school. I'm Mona Lisa Overdrive. And of course, these cyberpunk books. You know, for I don't know whatever reason. Um, and I think I don't know. Pardon me. Let me take the mic with me so you can hear me in my little journey. I don't know if I have it here. I don't see it. Oh wait, maybe it's over. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. Is it here? It is. This is a blast from the past. And these are from my good friend Brian. He gave these to me when I was leaving California and moving to Arizona, and Night's Edge. Uh, this is adding vampires to Cyberpunk, and it's pretty nice because they throw in, is it a really the mystery is it a real vampire or is it just cybernetics? And I don't want to ruin the adventure, but if you ever get a chance to run this adventure, it is awesome. Uh, Bob ASMR, Mr. Mean. You're scaring me, Bob. You're really scaring me. Codex is great. Crawford stuff is all fantastic. Yeah. Thief. Yes, Brian. I stole them while you weren't looking. And then a good friend of mine, Darren D Train, that I made friends with when I moved to Arizona. He gave me the little digest size books, several of them from Cyberpunk. I forgot what they were called. Interface, I think it was what it was called. Interface magazine. And there was a little tiny little pamphlet style book. He gave me like 3 or 4 of them, and they're phenomenal. Yeah, yeah, I think they were, Brian. I remember because you knew I was such a Cyberpunk fan that you gave. I know for a fact you gave me Knight's Edge. Well, let me double check. Maybe I bought it at. I might have bought it at Bookman's, and no, this is the one you gave me. Now, Survival of the Fittest. I'm not sure. This might have been one that Darren gave me, but I thought it was the one you gave me. So yeah, a little blast from the past there. Coco B, I've played in a low life 2019, but the Judge Dredd universe doesn't always have to be very punky per se, but you do you. Yeah, I mean, interface. Yeah, thanks, Bob. I couldn't remember the name. Uh, yeah, interface. Low life 2090 is awesome as far as I'm concerned. That's right, Brian. That is one of my favorite sayings. So Brian popped that quote out when we were playing Werewolf, and we had a group of, I want to say like 12 or 13 players. It was at a time I was young. Well, I wasn't that young, but I was younger. And I couldn't say no to people that wanted to play in games. And I was running a werewolf game, and I had a bunch of crazy friends, Amar's girlfriend at the time, I think, and then a couple other people and their friends. And, it just escalated into like this 13, I think it was 13 players. Brian was a player. Brian played a Corax, which is a were raven, were crow, whatever. Um, and it was awesome because there was a scene where a guy was just fucking, I was trying to start a fight as an NPC GM character, and Brian looks over at this guy and says, "The barking of the dogs does not affect the clouds." And he walks off. And it was like mic drop. It was just classic. And it's been one of my favorite sayings ever since. I use it all the time. So yeah. Um, so yeah, as you can see, I pulled out some Odie's. My Corax. Yep, that was your Corax, Brian. Don't forget. And to all of you fellow GMs that will ever think about running Werewolf the Apocalypse, not this new abomination that they call werewolf, because I don't consider that werewolf, but that's just me. Uh, if your player comes up and says, "Hey, I want to play a white howler before they get corrupted, before they turn into black spirals," for the love of God, just say no, because boy, does it create problems. It's great for the GM. It's great story material, and it's fun to run that game, but the players fucking hate it, don't they, Brian? That player caused so much problems for Brian. But yeah, fun game to run. I love Werewolf. That's another one of my favorites. And Brian says no. Yes, wholeheartedly no. Um, God, what other games? I love running the Dark Eye. No White Howlers. Yeah, that's right, Brian. The Dark Eye, Ulysses Spiel is another one of my favorite games that I love running. It's a crunchier system, but it really gives you a sense of impact and of the actions you take have weight, and I really like that in a game. Uh, when is the OSR going to get their grubby little hands on World of Dark? Ty, you're absolutely correct, and I'm really shocked that we haven't seen the OSR treatment given to the World of Darkness games. I'm kind of shocked that we haven't seen that yet. Because I mean, there's another game that's it's well over 20 years old. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's been some. Yeah, Brian, you that is actually my concern as well. Brian says that he digs the Dark Eye as well, but the depth of lore worries him more than the crunch of the mechanics, and it's because the Dark Eye is Germany's version of D&D. It's been around almost as long, and it has been shaped by the community over the last 30 plus years. And the Dark Eye's books are phenomenal. If you haven't checked out Ulysses Spiel's The Dark Eye or Das Haus Schwag, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's a really good game. It's a little daunting as a player or a GM when you look at it and you start to make a character, because there's a lot of choices and a lot of different things you can do. But I promise you, once you get past character creation, the game is a gem. And not that character creation is bad, because there is a quick character generation method. There is some software, Optolith, I think it's called. If you go on Drive-Through RPG, you can get Optolith, and it's fantastic. And a box of maps, which are excellent. Yeah, Brian says He has several of the basic the Dark Guy books and the box of maps, which are excellent. They are. If you have the maps, I highly recommend them. Yeah, I was just looking to see what version of the Dark Eye we're on. But it looks like we're on 1.4.2, and you can download this from Drive-Thru RPG. I believe it's shareware, but you can pay for it if you want. I threw him a couple of bucks because I think the software is phenomenal. It's really well done. Bob Vecna says the World of Darkness may be too lore dependent to make that work. I don't know, Bob. I mean, I think it could work. The problem is licensing. That'll be I don't remember who the current licensee owner is, if it's still CCP, or if it's moved. I think it moved on to some. I'm not quite sure, but either way, yeah, they'd have to be touchy. It would be tough. Did about 3 sessions in the before. So Brian ran about 3 sessions of the Dark Guy in the before times, which is awesome, of course. The before times being pre-COVID, but we like to call it the before times. Yes, Brian, I'm super excited to get Heroes of Adventure to the table. But guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I got to get to bed. I got stuff to do, chores in the morning if I'm gonna make that 11 o'clock game time for Heroes of Adventure. 11 or 12. I can't even remember what time I said now. What a big dummy. What time did I say? Uh, Noon. So noon Central Time will be the game. And let me see, what can I do here? Let's do this. Let's no limit. Say never. Oh, wait. I don't know. They're doing something. So I'm gonna do that. And then in the chat here, let's put that. So if you're not on the Discord, there's an invite. It'll last for 7 days, and then we'll go back. I just drawing too much juice from my desk, so let me turn that light off. Ah, there we go. Sorry about that. Let's see. Are we still going? Yeah. Sorry about that. So I think we're gonna get ready to call it a night, though, guys. It's getting pretty late, and like I said, I don't want to go too late. Hope you have fun. Might move my Gunderhoffen group to a hex crawl with House Heroes of Adventure after I finish the dungeon. Yeah, let me know how that goes, Ty. I think that would be pretty cool. Definitely looking forward to the Heroes of Adventure game that Brian's going to run. Brian is a fantastic GM, and I have a lot of fun gaming with him. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I was going to run it, but then Brian kind of volunteered, and I'm more than happy to let him do it because then I can see the pitfalls that he runs into, and I can avoid them. Thanks, Brian. No, I'm really excited. I don't think there's going to be any pitfalls. I think it's a pretty succinct game. I think the rules are crystal clear. I didn't see any ambiguity that I caught skimming. I've read over the rules a couple times now, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to play my dwarf monk, and we'll see how it goes. We'll definitely do an after action report, I think. And what I might do is maybe I can convince Brian to come on the channel, and we'll do like a little after action live action report. I think with that, guys, happy to GM. Yeah, Brian, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. As much as I love the GM, there are certain GMs that I love to be a player under, and Brian is one of those GMs. Ron, I hope you're doing good. I don't know if you're still in the chat there, but I hope everything is well. And let us know what's going on with your channel, because your channel is awesome. You guys go, if you haven't checked out Ron's channel, please go check it out. It's a fun channel. I really appreciate it. And I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We're gonna call it a night. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight, letting me babble and giving me some interesting topics to converse upon. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. As always, like and subscribe, follow. If you haven't, consider supporting the Patreon. And definitely, there's a link towards the end of the chat here for the Discord. Jump in the Discord and, uh, help us support the channel. We love to talk about games. We love to play games and all that fun stuff. So, salute, Wiedersehen, my feet are stained, all that other good stuff. Bueno venidos, whatever else we can say. Bob, thank you, sir. Ty, thank you. Brian, thank you. Ron, thank you. Fajuk, thank you. Fajuk was here. He says that on all my videos. He puts a little comment. Fajuk was here. So I appreciate that. So Mr. Mean was here. Guys, thank you so much. I had a fun time tonight. It really lifted my spirits. When I started the video, I was a little down in the dumps, worried about the channel, worried about moving. But engaging with you guys and chatting has really helped a lot. Puts me in a better headspace, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings. Stay tuned for new stuff that's coming. I hope you guys will enjoy everything. And as we say, as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says, be nice.